Hi, I'm Dan with Vigilante Bullet Lube. I'm a shooting part Sterling from Ram Mountain Armories, back there running the camera at the moment, and today we're going to do a little cap and ball shooting. We got a couple of 51 Navies out here. Both of these are Uberti arms. This one here's had a little Ram Mountain Armory custom work done to it. And I got my trusty 60 Army from Cimarron Arms. And both of these guns here, the internals have been worked on, replaced with Colt mainsprings, and they're pretty good shooters. And this guy here is fresh new out of the box. So some of the stuff we brought out with us today, we got some black powder, we got some over powder felt wads, and of course my Vigilante Bullet Lube products. I've seen a few videos where folks have tested my products up on YouTube, and yeah, they were kind of interesting. So our new 1 ounce tin of gun grease, and what we do with this is you want to utilize it on your cylinder pin. Simply pop this guy apart, get a speck of the gun grease on your finger, and smear him right on that cylinder pin, and he'll help keep things working. Smear him on your little speck on your frame, your high carbon areas. Rotate your cylinder back into place and put your barrel back on. So pretty simple, easy to operate stuff. He makes, of course, barrel seasoning and things of that nature to help keep your gun slicked up and running. With our patch lube, it works excellent on like the nipple threads. It's a little heavier. And I got out a little partial tub of bullet lube. A little partial tub of bullet lube out here. And we're going to use him to grease cylinder faces with. So we're going to get started in here, do a quick, get some guns loaded, and we're going to make a little smoke. So real quick, we're going to go through loading around in your cap and ball revolver. I got my civilian flask out here and a powder measure. And I'm going to get my charge of powder. I'm going to dump him right into the chamber. And I have my revolver sitting here on a loading stand so everybody can see what I got going on. We're going to take a lubricated felt wad and we're going to place him right in on top of that. And for my Uberti, a 457 to 458 diameter round ball is what I got loading shooting today. These were cast out of some range pick lead. We rotate him around, we crimp him into position, and you can see here I have a very fine little ring of lead which came off, and this is what you're looking for. That ring of lead being cut off is actually sealing the ball into the chamber. And with my tub of bullet lube here, I'm just going to take a knife and scrape a little bit out, and I'm going to place him right in on top of that ball. And what that's doing, and it doesn't take a lot, enough to cover him, is it's lubricating that bullet. So some people say if you're shooting the felt wad, you don't need to lube it. I don't think you go out and shoot any of your other gun shooting cast bullets with no lube on the bullet, which would essentially be what you're doing. So you continue on, load each chamber, and then lube them all once that you're finished. So once that's done, then we cap and we're ready to shoot. So I'm going to load the rest of these. Alright, for those that are unfamiliar or new to cap and ball revolvers, you do have an external ignition system. They are a muzzleloader. And I like to use my little capper. It'll hold 100 caps. You just push the little button, give him a shake, and the cap drops down. He goes right in and places the cap right onto the gun. We're now ready to go shoot.
Okay, so the first little video you saw of us loading guns, we were doing it in a pretty formal manner off of a loading stand like this, which is great for a new shooter because it keeps everything under control. It's right there at your fingertips. The gun's not falling all over the place. So we're gonna transition into a more informal approach that we often take. Keep in mind we have shot literally tens of thousands of rounds through cap and ball, so we're very comfortable with what we're doing. And we'll show you some different techniques. But at this point, got some of the formalities out of the way, time to have some fun. 3F black powder going in this 36 caliber. Powder. And a patch. Works better if it's on half cock. The loading sequence I use, and since we are at the range, we're loading all 6. If it goes into a holster, it only gets 5 loaded because I don't like to hammer down even if it is between cylinder notches. But back to what I was saying, the sequence I use is a charge of powder and then a felt wad, patch, whatever you want to call it, over top of that. Gives me a nice clear marker of where I'm at. From working with a lot of new cap and ball shooters, one of the things that gets pretty it's pretty common for the beginning shooter to have problems on keeping count of where you're at. Because while it seems simple to somebody that's been shooting forever, there's a lot goes into it. You know, you got to measure the powder, you got to pour the powder, you got to index the cylinder, and you're working with all this stuff, and it's all black. So how do you know where you're at? 36 caliber, you're only shooting an 18 to 20 grain charge for target results. They'll hold more, but you don't really need it. Yeah, that little white felt is a lifesaver for not double charging, having to deal with dumping powder out. Okay, now I just dumped 6 loads out on the ground because I screwed one up. And I've been running my jibs, and I think somebody over there is getting way ahead of me.
A little bit. So after 6 rounds with the Vigilante gun grease on there, she's spinning slicker than she was before we started shooting because it warmed it up and melted the grease a little bit.
And I will admit, I did shoot the first 6 rounds this gun's ever had fired through it off camera. Whoop. Okay, that one's dead. Just wanted to make sure it was in fully functioning order. You never know what one of these things is going to do straight out of the box. It may perform flawlessly, which this one actually did. Or it might be like this revolver here and need a considerable amount of work right out of the box to make it function properly. The biggest problem I run into with straight out of the box cap and ball revolvers is the fit of the percussion caps on the nipples. This brand new Uberti here, which came from Midway USA. They happened to have the best sale on at the time when I had the cash in pocket to get another one. It happens to have number 11 nipples on it, which is interesting. This particular Uberti, which is several years old, gosh, this thing's got to be 6-8 years old now. I can't remember exactly. It's over 8 years. It had number 10 nipples on it. Well, I think they were supposed to be 10s. 10s didn't fit, 11s didn't fit, CCIs didn't fit, Remingtons didn't fit, RWS didn't fit. Nothing fit them, so high risk of chain fire because the nipples won't seat the caps properly. They have been replaced, and I think if you look down through there, have a neutral enough light, you can see the bronze color sticking up there. These are Trezos. The Trezos are Very good product, and they work. You're ready to go shoot, aren't you?
I'm ready to go shoot.
I'm still flirting around over here. All right, so I got six balls in there. Nice warm temperatures. We're gonna put some bullet lube in here. And what did you? This is just a partial. You said you brought today a bullet lube.
Yep.
So the nice thing about the Vigilante bullet lube that I like personally is while it's nice and soft in this temperature, and this stuff feels like it's about 100 degrees coming out of there, even though it's only 75 degrees here today.
We're baking in the sun pretty good.
Yeah. Well, despite these temperatures and the fact that it looks like it's a real thin consistency, it stays where you put it. A lot of the other lubricants on the market that are specifically designed for black powder guns, the first time you pull the trigger, you get covered in it. I mean, literally covered. It's like pouring a bottle of 15W40 out on your hand.
Well, the difference is designing this being living historians, we wanted stuff to work like it used to work, and considering they fought wars with these things, they ought to do more than a handful of shots and gum up. They ought to run all day long and pick them up and load them, shoot them tomorrow, which we do quite often without doing anything to them. Just keep loading and shooting.
Somebody pointed out on one of the Facebook forums the other day, they wondered what the experience level of your average Civil War cap and ball shooter was. You know, we're talking somebody that wasn't military trained in cap and ball, because the military really didn't have that much training on the pistols. They didn't have that much training on the rifles either, to tell you the truth. What, you know, how did they handle the misfunctions? One of the things that they had was the proper lubricants for the firearms, whether they were self-contained in a cartridge or whether they were issued in bulk containers. And when you have the right lubrication, in other words, non-petroleum,
Things tend to work great.
things tend to work a lot better.
And way stiffer mainsprings on the guns than what there were today. My 60 Army and the engraved 51 have real Colt mainsprings in them. They're almost twice as stiff as the factory springs. The cap, when it hits, it reacts differently, and we have minimal to no malfunctions on a regular basis with them.
Mm-hmm. I did notice with this fresh out of the box Uberti, and you'll probably see it when we take it out here and shoot it, it doesn't have a genuine Colt mainspring in it, so it's a little looser. It's a few ounces, literally, different than the Colt mainspring I installed in my my normal 36 there. It's having a different reaction when it hits the caps, and I am having a little bit of difficulty with the cylinder wanting to jam just a hair. The caps aren't falling into the action, which is a major complaint with a lot of the Piata products. But they are deforming enough that they're making the cylinder a bit hard to turn for the next shot. I'm probably going to replace these nipples with Trezos. Well, I'm probably not going to bother. This one's slated for a Richards conversion. So this is just basically an excuse to get out and shoot.
Let's make smoke. After you, sir.
All right. I think I'm going to put some on paper and see how she's drooping. Good grief, that's lower than I'm used to.
Way low. Well, you said it, I'll follow suit.
Okay, I'll zoom in here so you can see what we did.
Here, let me see your pistol and I'll take him over to the target.
Okay, so this is the first target that I shot with the 36 Navy. As you can see, I had one flyer there on the bottom of the card. And this is the target with the 60 Army.
Well, we got everything all loaded up. We're going to see how much smoke we can make. It keeps skaters down.
By the way, this is a Rigger Old Army. We didn't have him out before. Ah.
Going long. Little high.
That ran out of punchy bombs.
That one's hard to hit. That's hit.
Alright, so just some miscellaneous commentary here while we're empty. We didn't exactly turn the camera on for YouTube's benefit. We were just out here shooting anyway. So this particular pistol right here has had, what, 4 cylinders run through it now?
Yep.
I noticed a lot of guys saying they get 2 cylinders full and everything locks up.
Oh, and we just shot 2F.
This is turning completely free. No problems whatsoever. In fact, it's going to get reloaded and shot again.
I don't know how many I just shot to put through this one.
I think you're at 4 as well. The Ruger Old Army, I drug it out. I'm going to tattle on myself. I didn't clean it the last time I shot it. It was shot with Vigilante gun products. So I didn't have any corrosion. I just had powder fouling. Lubed her up. It's spinning exactly like it should. It's shooting accurately. Man, this thing's getting some wear and tear on it. I've had this thing for 20 years. But yeah. So yeah. Might as well. Okay, shooting for a group. you want to zoom in on target down here? So right about there.
Well, we thank you all for watching. Hopefully something out here was of use to you. Decent shoot little guns, and I got to go dig a cap out of an action.
Well, I don't have to dig any caps out of any actions, but yeah, it's been an enjoyable afternoon, and we'll see y'all later.
See you on the trail.